that bad. It was written on the walls and window shades. Though she decked a little girl, a deceiver, a believer, that's her day. Sometimes a bottle of perfume, flowers and maybe some lace. Men bought Louise 10-cent trinkets. Their intentions were easily traced. And everybody knew at times she cried about women like Louise, they get by. And everybody thought it kind of sad when they found Louise in her room. They always put her down below their kind. Still some cried when she died this afternoon. Louise rode home on a mail train somewhere to the south, I heard them say. Too bad it ended so ugly. Too bad she had to go this way. The wind is blowing cold tonight. So good night, Louise. Good night. Well, how y'all doing? I know I'm still learning how to do this, but I see. Hi, Kevin. Thank you for joining. Kevin will be live streaming in a half an hour, in less than a half an hour. So if you want to switch between me and him, or just go over and see a much better singer, songwriter, and guitar player than me, but you know, if you're loyal, you'll stay here. But Kevin's here. Hi, Sally. Hi, Susan. Laurel, very nice to see you. It's been 2 years, I think. Bill, hi, and Jan. So family's here. That's nice. This is my 5th week doing this. The first week, I just wanted to see if I could, and then when I reviewed the footage, I realized, oh, well, I need to start working at this because I'd gotten lax and lazy and singing off key until halfway through, and I finally got warmed up and felt a little bit better. The first one was sort of like covers from the last half of the 20th century, just happy songs. The second week, I decided to go back and do stuff from the first half of the 20th century, so a lot of Leon Redbone covers. The third one, I went to this big thing where I did like 2.5 hours of nothing but Bruce Cockburn. And that one sort of got lunched by Facebook on recording. So that's when I got serious about all this gear and with the help of many people, Matt Price especially, got it all figured out. And so last week I went and did nothing but originals. So what am I going to do this week? Well, sad songs. This may not be the time for that, but I don't know. The blues, does it make you feel better? I assume it does. Otherwise, there'd be just blues clubs full of dead people. And I've always gravitated to, I mean, I've never been that much of a Jimmy Buffett guy. Well, except for some of the songs that he's written that really speak to the human condition. So that's what this is all about. So that first one, I don't know if it was a Leo Cocky tune, but I first heard it on Leo Cocky's Greenhouse album. So Kevin says balderdash, and thank you for using that word. We need to keep words like balderdash in the lexicon. More Bruce. There will be some Bruce later because I cannot get up in front of people without doing Bruce, unless I'm with the Whateverly Brothers, and then even sometimes we still do Bruce. This next one is John Gorka song. Before I started studying Bruce Cockburn, I spent a lot of time really just loving John Gorka, and I think John had a lot to teach me about songwriting, that's for sure. And this was one of the first songs that really attracted me to John. And by the way, there was one point in his career where he had a son, and he got married, and he got all happy. And I think his songwriting suffered for a little while because of that. I enjoyed him a lot better when he was clinically depressed. Go figure. I mean, I want nice things for the guy, but still, when he comes up with such great, one of my favorite first lines of his was, they built a prison by the freeway just to rub it in, a gentle reminder of the wages of sin. And this song has a similar initial hook to it. I couldn't bribe a wino what I used to make. My fortune was as sure as the wind. I was free to wander when time was on my hands. It was mine to burn and to win. Freedom for freedom, all an even scheme gives me time to wander and to dream. I need the money, they'll take the time down to the land of the bottom line, to the bottom line. Then there came a chance to make some steady dough, bouncing up my galley to the door. You fill your clothes with keys and damned responsibilities, trading the maybe for the sure. Freedom for freedom, call it an even scheme, gives me time to wander and to dream. I need the money, they'll take the time down to the land of the bottom line, to the bottom line. All I ever wanted was to be a kid and play, fighting every change along the way. I don't like work, I don't like waste, I don't like waiting for a taste. Freedom for freedom, call it an even scheme, gives me time to wander and to dream. I need the money, they'll And that was Land of the Bottom Line. Yeah, John Gorka, he does resonate. And Oriana, hi. Just as I was starting, I heard the garage door, so I didn't say hello. Please say hello to Happy and Chili for me. You can look elsewhere on my page. Our dog Happy has just been through. He's the best dog ever. He really is. He's big and but he's kind. The other littler dog just pushes him around and he just takes it and takes it and takes it until finally he can't anymore. Then the other dog goes flying and then everything's okay. So he just had some surgery and they removed one of his salivary glands. And so he's in recovery mode. So he's sitting in his cage all day just going, what I want to play. But it's just the way it is. We're going to go from John Gorka to Stan Rogers. This is a song that I decided I'm never again going to play at Christmas time because it's just inappropriate, even though it's about Christmas. This is a song that I think is meant really to be played not during Christmas. But it certainly goes along the theme of sad songs. This day a year ago, he was rolling in the snow with a younger brother in his father's yard. Christmas break, a time for touching home, the heart of all he's known. Leaving was so hard, 3,000 miles away. Now he's working Christmas Day, making double time for the minding of the store. He always said he'd make it on his own, spending Christmas Eve alone. First Christmas away from home. She's standing by the train station, panhandling for change. $4 more buys a decent meal and a room. Looks like the Sally Ann place after all, in a crowded sleeping hall that echoes like a tomb. But it's warm and clean and free, and there are worse places to be, and at least it means no beating from her dad. And if she cries because it's Christmas Day, she hopes that it won't show. First Christmas away from home. The apartment stands a tree, and it looks so small and bare, not like it was meant to be. The golden angel on the top, it's not that same old silver star you wanted for your own. First Christmas away from home. In the morning they've got prayers, then it's crafts and tea downstairs, then another meal back in his little room. hoping maybe that the boys will think to phone before the day's done. But it's best they do it soon. Since the old girl passed away, he fell apart more every day. Each had always kept the other pretty well. But the kids all said the nursing home was best, 'cause he couldn't live alone. First Christmas away from home. In the common room they've got the biggest tree, and it's huge and it's cold and lifeless, not like it ought to be. And the lit up flashing Santa Claus on top, it's not that same old silver star you once made for your own. First Christmas away from home. First Christmas away from home. Oh, that was Stan Rogers' First Christmas. Hi, Oriana. Everybody says hi, Oriana. Hi, Susan. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. I hope everything's going well with the new technical stuff that you've got. Oh, yeah. And actually, I used to listen. Susan mentioned something about Matt Retroba's program. I still have tapes. I used to tape the entire, 3 hours at one point, and then condense it down and learn stuff off of that. Matt was a treasure. Still is, I hope. All right. This next one, it's kind of a sad song, but it's also a lovely song. I have a tough time singing it sometimes, but we'll see how we do. No, it's not. There. I forgot when you capo, sometimes the intonation goes off. This old house is falling down around my ears. I'm drowning in a river of my tears. When all my will is gone, you hold me sway. I need you at the dimming of you pull me like the moon pulls on the tide. You know just where I keep my bitter side. Where days have gone to keep us far apart. a broken promise or a broken heart. Now all the bonny birds have wheeled away. I need you at the dimming of the day. Come the night, you're only what I want. Come the night, you can be my confidant. I see you on the street in company. Why don't you come and ease your mind with me? Oh boy. Wish somebody could type that last lyric. Why don't you come and ease your mind with me? I am living for the night we steal away. I need you at the dimming of the day. I need you at the dimming of the day. No, I failed to stick the landing. I'm sorry about that, but I can only remember so much. And every time I lose or I learn a new song, I then like forget where I parked my car, or I lose my car keys, or forget where I work or something like that. I've only got so much capacity. So that was Richard Thompson's immortal "Dimming of the Day." Easily one of the best songs ever written, at least by my lights. Let's see. Hey, Mike. Good to see you, Mr. Buckman. Okay, Dan got his webcam running. That's awesome. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, Mike Buckman. And actually, it's funny that you're here because Mike gave me a wonderful opportunity a number of years ago. We did a Richard Thompson fundraiser. So everybody sang Richard Thompson tunes. And I got to sit on stage with Bill frickin' Frisell, which was just awesome. I got to talk with him and do all sorts of... I got to be in Bill Frisell's airspace, which is just great. And I will be forever grateful to you, Mike, for that experience. Okay, we're going to go back to, well, again, the theme today, because I try to do something different. And actually, playing for 2.5 hours at a time, not working off of notes, and trying to come up with another theme every week is difficult. And I think next week I'm going to have to finally start repeating myself. So that's what's going to happen. So we're going to go back to John Gorka. No, now bet you the bees out. Give me a sec. I'm going to just slap this thing back into tune. I remember back when I was living in Michigan, I had my very first nice car, and I took a day off from work, and I got the oil changed and did all sorts of things for the car. And on the way home, some young lady turned right in front of me. Her insurance ended up covering it, but totaled the car. And when I went back to my apartment, this is the song that I don't know was in the CD player, So this is a John Gorka song about auto theft. Hopefully I remember this one. I lost my car to the Riverside Drive, blasting headed down the Upper West Side. 138th Street or 139th, what's yours was theirs, what's theirs was mine. It's gone for parts, it's gone for fun, it's gone for sure ask anyone. Well, they're not polite, they don't say please in the cover of night, they rarely use keys. Now there's a stranger in my driver's seat with broken glass around his feet. The radio will change its tune, remove beneath the New York moon. The precinct has a dicey clerk, her hand fills out the paperwork. But the cops don't look for stolen cars. You can wish upon a star. It happens every now and then. People see their cars again, resting up on cinder blocks with open trunks and busted locks. They say in this town nothing sleeps. That goes for thieves and chimney sweeps. The smart ones say to keep your ride, park it on the Jersey side. Now there's a stranger in my driver's seat with broken glass around his feet. The radio will change its tune, remove beneath a New York moon. I lost my car to the Riverside Drive, last seen headed down the Upper West Side. 138th Street or 139th, what's yours was theirs, what's theirs was mine. Manhattan nights are full of rats, Republicans and Democrats. Most of them have learned the rules, the rest of us just go to school. As a stranger in my driver's seat with broken glass around his feet, the radio will change its tune, remove beneath a New York moon. Ooh. I lost my car to the Riverside Drive, last seen headed down the Upper West Side. 138th Street or 139th, what's yours was theirs, what's theirs was mine. And that there was a folk song about auto theft. All right. This is a little bit more lighthearted, but it's also got a very dark overtones to it. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Hi, Kay. Good, a long time no see. I think it's been about 5 years since you've been over to the house. Yeah, Mike, you should have. It would have been great to hear you. Yes, and by the way, the Dan and Chris and I are the Whateverly brothers. We're working on putting a video together because Chris and I are especially afraid that if we go over and rehearse as a band, we'll kill both Dan and Sally, and then what will we do? So the Whateverly brothers are respecting the social distancing conventions. So we're going to try to get technical, which with Dan is both rewarding and hilarious. So, sorry, Dan. All right. I haven't done this in a long time. I saw a man. He was a well-dressed man. He had a tan. He got from Yucatan. He had a car. He looked like a star. I said, hey, man, don't I know who you are? He looked at me and I looked in his eyes. What I saw was such a big surprise. He was afraid that it's just a bum someday when all his stuff is gone and he's left without a dime. Time ain't money when all you got is time. And you can see him standing on a corner with his 9-day beard and his bright red eyes going, hey, 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 why don't you listen to my story, man? Hey, 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 ah, ah, hey. I know this guy, he was a friend of mine. I said, hey, man. He said, I'm doing fine, I'm moving up that ladder, climbing rung, rung, rung. I'm gonna make my million while I am still young. But at night, after he's had a few, his eyes say different than his tongue. They say he's afraid that it's just a bum someday when all his stuff is gone and he's left without a dime. Time ain't money when all you got is time. And you can see him standing at the corner with his 9-day beard and his bright red eyes going, hey, 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 why don't you listen to my story, man? Hey, 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 oh, oh, hey. Oh, man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. He stands in line waiting for relief, and he will tell you it wasn't always this way. When a bad little thing happened one sad little day, and now he lives with a sorrow smell, living with a Karen in a cheap hotel, and he's afraid that he's just a bum someday when all his stuff is gone and he's left without a dime. Time ain't money when all you got is time. And you can see him standing on that corner with his 9-day beard and his bright red eyes going, hey, 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 why don't you listen to my story, man? Hey, 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 hey. We all live to work and we work to live. Any little trembling the earth might give, you can't hide it in a mansion or a London fog. You can't hide it in a bauble with an imported dog. No matter how we plan and rehearse, we're at a pink slips mercy in a paper universe, and we're afraid that we're just a bum someday when all the stuff is gone and we're left without a dime. Time ain't money when all you got is time. And you can see us standing on the corner with our 9-day beards and our bright red eyes going, hey, 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 why don't you listen to my story, man? Hey, 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 hey. So a Greg Brown folk song, a Greg Brown folk song about being just a bum. Yeah, we always think of your health, Dan and Sally. All right, let's see where are we going with this next. We're trying to cover everything. Somebody died in the first song. The first song was Louise, a song about a dead prostitute. We've had auto theft. We've had rotten Christmases. We've had economic depression. Drug addiction. That's obvious. That's the next one. Let's see. And this is Paul Simon. Ooh, doesn't hide your broken bones. I don't see why you'd want to try. Ooh, it's plain to see you're on your own. Ooh, I ain't blind, no. Some folks are crazy, others walk that borderline. Watch what you're doing, taking downs to get you off to sleep, and ups to take you on your way. After a while, it'll change your style. Ooh, I've seen it happen every day. Ooh, spare your heart. Everything put together sooner or later falls apart. Nothing to it, nothing to it. You can try, you can lie. For all the good it'll do ya, you can die. But when it's said and done, and they lay you down for dead, ooh, just remember what I said. That was off of Paul Simon's first solo album. Everything put together sooner or later falls apart. So drug addiction. Hey Jerry, thanks for joining again, man. It's good to see you're there. Hope everything's going well with you and yours. So we're doing sad songs today. All right, well, suicide. I guess that's the natural place to go next. This is another, I don't know if Leo Kaki wrote it, but it's another Leo Kaki song. I think it's one of the first Leo Kaki songs I tackled. Gotta fix that, sorry. A lot of these songs I have not played in over a decade. I also have some originals coming up that I haven't played. There's a lot of the older stuff that I've written that I don't play anymore. But a lot of them were very depressing, so I thought this would be a good time to bring them up. All right, I'll just start where I left off. Feeling like a ship out of the ocean, about to go aground on desert sands. Feeling like an eagle who's in motion, it's tired of flying into weird land. And every day's all the same. Never change, and I'm going from the cradle to the grave. I don't think I've ever felt this helpless, always running like my hands were tied. Failure at most everything I've dealt with, losing most everything I tried. Every day's all the same, same always, never change. And I'm rolling from the cradle to the grave. change. And I'm rolling from the cradle to the grave. Running for my life at every moment, never having time to catch my breath. Sometimes I wish this crazy race were over. The thought of living scares me half to death. And every day's all the same. Same always, never change. And I'm rolling from the cradle to the grave. I don't think it gets any better, so we're gonna keep on going with depressing songs. I'll be pleased if any I'll be pleased if any of you are here by the end. But I have to say once again that I've always been attracted to the ballads because it speaks to the human condition. It makes us think about it, and I think in the end we're better off because of it. So sometimes a sad song will make you feel better, just like I guess the blues does, because you see what people share. That isn't necessarily exactly why I decided to do this tonight as a theme. It's just I couldn't think of anything else, really. So I'm going to keep on pushing through this. So this next one is about crime. It's really hard to play. After this, we're going to take a little bit of a break and play more of a happy song because I'm going down in this tuning. Right. Well, I hope I can remember how to do this. This is also, by the way, another Richard Thompson tune. B always goes flat. There you go. All right. We'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. And also, somebody ends up getting killed in this song as well. So. Come on. Said Molly to James, that's a fine motorbike. A girl could feel special on any such light. Said James to Red Molly, well, my hat's off to you. It's Vincent Black Lightning 1952. And I've seen you on the corners and cafes, it seems. Red hair and black leather, my favorite color scheme. And he pulled her on behind and down to Box Hill they did ride. Said James to Red Molly, here's a ring for your right hand. But I'm telling you in earnest, I'm a dangerous man. I've fought with the law since I was 17. I robbed many a man to get my Vincent machine. Now I'm just 21, I might make 22, and I won't mind dying but for the love of you. And if it should take my stride, I'll give you my Vincent to ride. Come down, Red Molly, cried Sergeant McCrae, for they've taken young James 80 for armed robbery. Shotgun blast to his chest, left nothing inside. Come down, Red Molly, to his dogging bedside. When she got to the hospital, there wasn't much left. He was running out of road, he was running out of breath. But he smiled to see her cry. Said, I'll give you my Vincent to ride. Said James, in my opinion, there is nothing in this world beats a 52 Vincent and a red-headed girl. Now Nortons and Indians and Grease just won't do. They don't have a soul of the Vincent 52. And he reached for her hand and he gave her the keys. He said, I won't have any further use for these. I see angels on aerials in leather and chrome, swooping down from heaven for to carry me home. And he gave her one last kiss and died. And he gave her that Vincent to ride. Vincent, Black Lightning, Richard Thompson. That really rips the heck out of your thumb. And actually, I didn't even know if I was going to play. After the last couple of weeks, I've developed. I do this annual Bruce Coburn tribute that I don't know if we're going to do it this year or if we're going to live stream it or what. But when I start practicing the Coburn things over and over again, I develop a blister and then consequently can't play because Coburn songs are just so rough on your thumb. Anyways, this is going to be the one not necessarily depressing song if I can play it, because I'm not in this tuning often. It's like a C, G, D, G, B, E tuning. Well, I could just... It's that. And I know another song in that tuning, so I'm just going to play it while I'm here, and then I'm going to have to crawl back to a standard tuning, I think. And, yeah. So. Okay, it's been a long time. She goes down and lets me in. She makes me see where I've been. Been down one time, been down 2 times. Ooh, never going back again. Never going back again. Ooh. You don't know what it means to win. Come on down and see me again. Been down 1 time, been down 2 times, been down 3 times. Ooh, never going back again. Ooh. Shake the guitar and get all those notes out. All right, so that was a slight break in the theme for today, just because I happen to be in this tuning, and now I have to get out of the damn thing. So this is a tuning that I rarely use. It's called standard. It's weird, standard tuning, because you have to, it's not modal, so you have to actually figure out what you wanted the guitar to do. Whereas if you just put the thing in an open D, you can virtually throw the guitar down the stairs and get a song out of it. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Throw somebody else's guitar down the stairs if you want to try that. Make sure they're not around. That sounds like standard to me. What am I supposed to do now? Oh, yeah, I love this song. Another incredibly depressing song. This one goes back to economics, and we're going back to Stan Rogers again. And I'll check to see. RT. Bill, you're still here. That's great. Bruce. All right. Bruce is coming up. T-2 songs. This is a song that goes back to my Midwestern roots. I was born and raised in Michigan. There. There's a town in Canada, Ontario, I think, on the Huron side. It's called Wyerton. Oh, no. Wyerton was the song that came. This is one about Patterson Creek. And it's basically, I think it was in the 70s. The lakes got so polluted that they weren't allowed to fish for the bigger fish. And all the commercial fishermen were relegated to having to fish for smelt for Japanese markets or go out of business. So Stan Rogers wrote this just gorgeous song about that. And again, hope I can remember this. Patterson's creeks, muddy waters run down past the petty arcades by the harbor downtown. All the old turtlebacks rust in the rain like they never will leave there again. But leave there they will in the hour before dawn, step out in the darkness without word or song. For a few more years yet, they will work while they can to catch tiny fish for Japan. No whitefish or trout here, they leave them alone. The inspectors raise hell if we take any home. What kind of fisherman can't eat his catch, or call what he's taken his own? Well, the plant works 3 shifts now, there's plenty of pay. We ship 17 tons of this garbage each day. And if we want to eat fish, then we'll open a can to catch tiny fish for Japan. At the Norfolk Hotel, over far too much beer, the old guys remember when the waters ran clear. No poisons with names that we can't understand, and no tiny fish for Japan. And so the days run together, each one is the same, and it's good that the smelt have no lovelier name. For it's all just a job now, we'll work while we can to catch tiny fish for Japan. And we'll catch tiny fish for Japan. So that was Stan Rogers' Tiny Fish. Thank you, Sally. I really love that song too. Stan, his songwriting. You know, the first thing you hear when you hear Stan Rogers is that voice, that gunmetal gray, bulletproof, perfect voice. And then, of course, you get grabbed by just the insanely provocative, evocative songwriting. And then if you dig a little bit deeper, you realize the guy was a guitar god. He really was. He's doing things in alternate tunings, and his finger style was just perfect. He just didn't flaunt it, I guess. There's really nothing in any of his music that it's right there in front, like with a lot of other musicians. So Stan. And we haven't done much Unrequited Love, except for that Richard Thompson one. So we're going to go back to Unrequited Love, one of my favorite songs, John Gorka. Go back to the tuner. Yeah, note to you guitarists, I found that for small changes to the flat on a string tuning, it makes a lot more sense just to tug the thing in a tune rather than try to use the machine head. And you never tune down to a note, you always tune up. Good enough. I saw a stranger with your hair. No, I'm not doing it there. I saw a stranger with your hair, tried to make her give it back, so I could send it off to you, maybe Federal Express, 'cause I know you'd miss it. I saw another with your eyes, the flash just turned my head. I went to try them on for size, but they looked the other way, and they wouldn't listen. But you're never hard to find in a crowd. People around you smiling out loud. Their feet don't touch the ground. No, their feet don't touch the ground. No, their feet don't touch the ground. I heard a stranger with your voice. It took me by surprise. Again I found it wasn't you, just an angel in disguise, in for a visit. By the way, how is my heart? I haven't seen it since you left. I am almost sure it followed you. Could you sometimes send it back? I'll pay the ticket. But you're never hard to find in a crowd. People around you smiling out loud. Your feet don't touch the ground. Your feet don't touch the ground. No, their feet don't touch the ground. I saw a stranger with your hair. I saw another with your eyes. I heard an angel with your voice. By the way, how is my heart? By the way, how is my heart? So, talk about some amazing songwriting. If you all will excuse me, why don't we all take a 5-minute break, if you don't mind? Because I know I have to. And I will be right back, and we're going to do some Bruce Coburn next. We're far past the halfway point, just so you know. So I made a sign. Be right back. What did you guys think of my professional signage, huh? Just goes to show that I didn't care enough to print something out. Hello. We'll remove this. I'm having fun singing nothing but sad songs. I hope you are too. I hope you enjoy the spirit of it. Great. Now we can talk about Rob. That was sad, wasn't it? Actually, Shannon, that's an excellent idea. I should learn some Shannon Beck songs. I'd really like to do that, actually, and see. You know me, I'm generally a purist, so I might not be able to put my own spin on them. But it'd be an interesting exercise. Pick a favorite song. Get it to me. We'll talk. All right, Bruce Coburn. Now, actually, I had to bring. I'm not working off of any notes except for this one, and it's funny because I've been playing this forever, and it's a Bruce Coburn tune. So you think if I have anything memorized, it'd be this song. But there's just little things that happen at the end of every verse that I can never quite get in order. So. And this is going to force the guitar out a bit, I imagine. Capo 4. Another thing I learned from a banjo player is your tuner will be a lot more accurate if you try to mute the other strings, because they will ring sympathetically, especially on a banjo. It really helped me on my resonator guitar. Trying to do it on a 12-string is nearly impossible. All right, let's see. I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to bring that up. Try to bring this. No. I'm going to have to reassign the pedal. That was a worthless. Why is... Oh, it's because of that. Yeah, that's better. And it's about this point where my voice starts to give out. So we'll see how this works. Sunset is an angel weeping, holding out a bloody sword. No matter how wise Queen I cannot make out what it's pointing towards. Sometimes you feel that you live too long. Days drip slowly on the page. You catch yourself pacing the cage. I've proven who I am so many times. The magnetic strips worn thin, and each time I was someone else, and everyone was taken in. I was January in high places, stir up buddies in the dust of rage. Sent me to pacing the cage. I never knew what you all wanted, so I gave you everything. All that I could pillage, all the spells that I could sing. It's as if the thing were written in the constitution of the age. Sooner or later, you wind up pacing the cage. Sometimes the best map will not guide you. You can't see what's round the bend. Sometimes the road leads to dark places. Sometimes the darkness is your friend. Today these eyes can bleach down land for the coming of the upbound stage. Pacing the cage. pacing the cage. Bruce Cockburn, a song about weariness. I will say this for Jimmy Buffett. He covered that. Actually, Bruce went on record once saying he didn't understand why Jimmy Buffett played it exactly the same way that Bruce played it. Go figure. A little bit less than gracious of Bruce, I think. But oh well. Everybody having fun with depressing songs? I'm afraid to push that. Shannon, I'm going to have to look at it later. April. Oh, I'll bet you that's a video that I should watch of one of your songs. I'm hoping that's what that is. Okay. We're going back into Greg Brown. This is a song. It's not actually depressing. It's a beautiful song. It's a song about love. It has some dark imagery in it, though. So, and this is Cable 3. And before I studied Bruce Cockburn and before I studied John Gorka, I spent a lot of time with Greg Brown. I actually hired Greg Brown once. I founded a folk festival in northern Michigan, in Houghton, Michigan, that ran for several years. It was a lot of fun. Jerry Brunell, if you're still here, Jerry ran sound for a lot of that and provided the venue for some awesome festival parties, where me and Jack Bauer were always the last ones, 4 o'clock in the morning, and still trading songs. Those were some very good days. Jerry, you sent me a year ago a picture of all of us sitting in the beach house. I guess statute of limitations has run out by now, but Jerry and Jim Windsor ran a speakeasy in their house. So whenever you saw the green light, it was beach house, green light, you know that there's beer. And so that's where we would pretty much live. It was a very strange house. It had one room that was all black. I remember that. Good times. Anyways, this is a Greg Brown song. Looking out my window, glad to see another dawn. A few cars struggling through the snow. So hard to believe it could be all here and gone so quickly that we wouldn't even know. Still I slept all night by my lover. She trembles in her sleep, deep in some bad dream. I touch her brow and she ceases shaking. But how can I sleep with such a lovely watch to keep? An hour or so the children will be waking. slept all night by my lover. Bad men with guns stalk the deer at night, bring down the dark the whole world over. Even in my dreams, I see the shining eyes that pierce me and leave me without color. Still I slept all night by my lover. So that was one of my favorite Greg Brown tunes. I slept all night. Thanks for sharing that, Jerry. All right, this next one is my favorite song of all time. It's not really depressing. It's lovely, but it also makes me kind of cry every time I try to play it because it's just so beautiful, and it speaks to a place where we're all heading. This is Michael Smith's The Dutchman. Oops. The Dutchman's not the kind of man to keep his thumb jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in. But that's a secret only Margaret knows. When Amsterdam is golden in the morning, Margaret brings him breakfast. She believes him. He thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be, but Margaret only sees that sometimes. Sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman still wears wooden shoes. His cap and coat are patched with love that Margaret sewed in. He thinks he's still in Rotterdam. He watches tugboats down canals and calls out to them if he thinks he knows the captain. Till Margaret comes to take him home again through unforgiving streets and trip him though she holds his arm. Sometimes he thinks that he's alone and calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The windmills whirl the winter in. She winds his muffler tighter. They sit in the kitchen. Some tea with whiskey keeps away the dew. He sees her for a moment, calls her name. She makes the bed up humming some old love song. She learned it when the tune was very new. He hums a line or two. They hum together in the night. The Dutchman falls asleep and Margaret blows the candle out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman. That's the greatest song ever written, as far as I'm concerned. I just love that song to death. I'm not sure, Shannon. I think there's a disconnect here. There's a April gift there that I'm afraid to push because it's gonna come back through the talkback on the system, and I don't know what I'm pushing, and I never push something that I don't know what I'm pushing. We're actually going to go into 3 originals now, and we're getting towards the end, actually. We're going to devolve into a dadgad tuning after this is done. The next 3 songs are songs that I never play. They're songs that I wrote in my 20s or teens or early 30s, and most of that was pretty self-absorbed. And I think a lot of songwriters go through that. They start inward, and then eventually, if they keep with it, they broaden their perspective. And I'm not saying that singing about yourself and your thoughts is bad, but being a whiny, lovelorn 20-year-old is not necessarily good either, right? But this is a song I wrote about a breakup. So I had to get one FU song in there. And this is called I Think It's Time. And it was a breakup song. It was My Darling, We Are No More. That type of song. I had a horrible habit when I was younger of being the one to break off relationships right up until my first divorce, and then things generally went the other way. leaving today. Don't want no restitution, honey. You can take all of that money and stick it in the moon. I'm leaving today. I'm going out on the road, going to stick up my thumb. I want to hear those tires singing and humming on a bright afternoon. I think it's time that I went home. I can't take it and I want to head back home. That special trust, well, it's not what it's seeming, and I'm tired of screaming. Well, can't you see my eyes, they're streaming? It won't be no more. You're doing fine, but it's not what it started. Now I'm broken hearted, so I think it's time we parted. I'm late for that door. I think it's time that I went home. Take it in, I want to head back home. So go ahead, you just take what I've given and go on with your living, 'cause I don't feel so driven, I don't feel so grand. But keep it alive, and I'll try to understand that it's not the way you planned it, but it's gotten so goddamn crazy, so out of hand. I think it's time that I went home. I can't take it in, I want to head back home. I think it's time that I went home. I can't take it in, I want to head back. So that was called I Think It's Time. Hi, Paula. You're there right at the end, but I'm still doing stuff. I got like 4 or 5 songs left. The theme tonight is sad songs, and I'm going into a mini theme within that. Sad songs that I wrote when I was much younger and much sillier. So that first one was about a musical FOAD to a potential partner. The second one is about loneliness and desolation, and you know, hopefully finding that person who resonates with you. This might have been in my Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young phase, so just imagine 4-part harmony. And I haven't attempted to do this song in well over 20 years. The walls around my soul are fortified with guns and pride. My moat is deep, the serpent saved me from experience. My slings and arrows guard the hollow spaces deep inside. Drawbridge lifted, I survive. The nights grew cold, the watchfires died out many years ago. Within the circle, I still walk the watch and mark the time. I wait for better days and hope relief will someday show. Drawbridge lifted, I survive. But you surround me and lay siege to all my senses. You storm my gates and then you breach all my defenses. Now you're before me, I can see. You are my enemy of me. You're my enemy of me. You're my enemy of me. You remind me of me. You remind me of me. Walls around my soul are fortified with guns and pride. My moat is deep, the serpents save me from experience. My slings and arrows guard the hollow spaces deep inside. Drawbridge lifted, I survive. You remind me of me. 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 So that's what a 20-year-old writes? Let's see. Carol Neisler is saying, yep, I'm watching too, but she's doing it in smaller case with punctuation. So, hi, Pat. How you doing? Yeah. All right. What am I doing? Dan says he did. Killer sad. Thank you, Shannon. It means that I'm hitting my goal of being ultimately depressing. Okay, here's another song. This is really early, Rob. I wrote this. I must have been in my late teens, early 20s. It's called Archaeology, and Oh, sorry. And the subject of this is the ultimate. Actually, I posted something. I saw something I posted 4 years ago. I reposted it today on Facebook. It said that Jean-Paul Sartre died 40 years today. Of course, that doesn't really matter. Nothing really matters. So this song is called Archaeology, and it's about the utter futility of everything. Which I guess is what, a 20-year-old is, whatever. Anyways, I've not played this in a very long time. So, and you probably need to remember that when I wrote this, I was probably listening to a lot of Detroit radio. I hadn't discovered NPR at the time. So it's got a little bit more of a rock and roll. That's pretty good. Searching in the ruins with axe in hand, he carves the landscape, craving all the emotions left behind. Scenery is dusty, lacking water, it is emptiness. The fertile ground that once was does he find. The tale that the dry earth gives forth will sing a song of reason for believing in a future filled with smiles. But the best plans laid by mice and men will lead to dust and emptiness. The desert sings a symphony of trials. All we are and all we think leads us blindly to the brink of destruction, despite our greatest feats. And the tales of the ancient races fade away against brand new faces. Fair to see that history repeats. Searcher seeks old endings, and in these he sees his own, and the meaning there is lost upon the wind. It was a twist of fate, a fallacy, and not to be repeated. See the searcher die before he could begin. All we are and all we think leads us blindly to the brink of destruction, despite our greatest feats. And the tales of the ancient races fade away against brand new faces. Fair to see that history repeats. Fair to see that history repeats. Searcher in the ruins with axe in hand, he carves the landscape, craving all the emotions left behind. Scenery is dusty, lacking water, it is emptiness. The tale of what once was does he find. Interesting thing there. the I'm doing so much fingerstyle these days. I forgot that the guitar was not set up for that kind of strumming, so hopefully it didn't blow you guys out of the water. But anyways, that's it for songs that I've written today. Okay, now we're going to descend into tunings. I've got only 4 or 5 songs left. Thank you, those of you who have stuck around. I've been doing this now for 5 weeks during the coronavirus sequestration. I don't, there's a lot of musicians and a lot of venues who depend on your patronage for their only source of income, and I'm not one of those. So I don't really make a big thing out of this. This is more for, me just to keep my chops going, so that when I get back out there, when this is all over, and it will eventually be all over, after all the Proud Boys go out and infect everybody, and then we have another, and then humans seem to learn the second time around at minimum. So maybe 2 or 3 more rounds of this and we're going to be fine. But it's going to end and you're going to be okay. So in the interim, think about what you can do to keep venues and the real full-timers working and eating and buy their merchandise, buy food from your local restaurants if you can. I don't need to tell you this stuff, really. Actually, I'm going to stop saying that. The theme for today is depressing songs. So I'm going to go back to John Gorka, because his early repertoire is just loaded with utter despair. I really should spend some time meditating, and maybe those of you who are still watching, we can talk about this. What is it about the blues and sad songs that attract us and bring us together? Because it's always been a thing with me, and it's funny because there was a lot of times where my only source of income was playing at the bars and more recently playing at wine bars, and now I'm doing things with the Wood Everly Brothers where you don't dare trot this stuff out. I mean, there are people drinking alcohol. You don't want them to, sink into depression. So you gotta sing Jimmy Buffett songs. So I don't, just like with the Bruce Cockburn stuff. And oh boy, there's a crossover there. Venn diagram, depressing, Bruce Cockburn. There's a reason why we love these songs, and there's nowhere where you can really reliably play them unless you're in a real concert, a listening setting. Anyways, this is a wonderfully depressing song. It's another John Gorka tune, and it's called Full of Life. And I hardly ever go into this tuning. It's an open D tuning, so I never get a real chance to play this song. So hopefully I remember it. Sorry, my in-ear is a little too loud. Yes, I am wearing, it's the only way I can do this with a really hot condenser mic. So. Life is full of disappointments. Yes, and I am full of life. I'm standing here without illusion. I almost had a wife. It could be the path I've chosen. Leaves no room for someone else, or that the woman who could stand me somewhere keeping to herself. I can't say that I blame her think that I could take that ride. When love is worse than feeling lonely, it leaves you twisted up inside. So on the outside you seem noble, but only last a little while. Before you wear it in your bearing, it's in the way before you smile. You see couples who seem happy, you wonder how they got that way. Are they just blind or kind of stupid? Are they just having a good day? I'm standing here without illusion. You know I almost had a wife, but life is full of disappointments. Yes, and I am full of life. Life is full of disappointments. Yes, and I am full of life. Life is full of disappointments. Yes, and I am full of life. You can't get much more depressing than that. And that's what I'm going for tonight, people. I'm sorry. Sally says, we share these feelings, and that makes it all the better. Right, exactly. Actually, I was a fan of Spider Robinson's writing for a long time. And one of the overriding themes in a lot of his stories was that shared pain is lessened, shared joy is increased. Which I guess is now what's so important about this medium in learning how to connect electronically, because that's the safest thing we can do right now, but we can't stop connecting. Even though I live in a town that's not always good at that, it's a great place for people who like to sort of cocoon and the Seattle freeze is a thing. If you're not from this area, look it up. It took me a while to get past it, so. All right, depressing, and I'm in an open D, and I want to get to a dad gad. How do we do that? I mentioned earlier this is probably more personal information than anybody really wants or needs, but yeah, I wasn't a serial dater when I was young. Well, one of those is wrong. It's that one. Oh boy. But I kind of had a habit of getting into a relationship there when I was in my prime, and then just sort of moving on. And once I recognized that pattern, I stopped dating altogether for quite some time because I felt like a heel. I didn't feel good about this, but I also didn't feel like sticking with any of the people that I was dating at the time. I didn't have any illusions that, perfect true love has to happen. I know it's a process and I know you have to work it, but I don't know. It just wasn't working. And so I went into a period where I just didn't date at all. Of course, I'd see other people who were, and that made me feel lousy. And maybe that's why this particular song resonates with me. I don't know much else by this guy, and I need to look him up. This was I got this off of Christine Lavin's On a Winter's Night, I think the original one. It's by a guy named Hugh Blumenthal, and it's called Let Me Fall in Love Before the Spring Comes. I have not played this either in quite some time, so I don't know how it's going to go. We shall see. But it really, it's a song that so would have resonated with me back in the day. There's a warm wind blowing from the south. Though instead of winter, something crazy's blowing. The smell of it reminds me of the smell of my body, of a woman that I knew when I was too young to know. Let me fall in love before the spring comes. Well, they used to say that April was the sweet month, but now I know that she is cruel. In the city she gives nothing but a memory, the promises she made us in wilder times and wilder places, where the city streets don't go. Let me fall in love before the spring comes. It's a fool's world that has no sorrow at its center, and it's fool's gold that breaks and does not bend. And the June snows of winter melt in the gutter, and log-lit nights of lazy sleep haze threaten to be over. And I have not abandoned hope, abandons what I fear and abandon. Seems to be just what I need. Let me fall in love before the spring comes. Let me fall in love before the spring comes. Let me fall in love before the warm comes. Let me fall in love before the spring comes. All right, I might do 3 more actually, since I'm in this tuning. And oh, Andrea Bedard, I'll be darned. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I hope you're doing well. Glad that you came in. Yes, music is a great way to say out loud what doesn't sound very great. Blues lets us know we're not alone in this human experience. It feels better to know you're not in this alone. That's exactly right. Larry Baumgartner, long time no see. Good to hear. I hope you're still building guitar and having fun. All right, so the theme tonight is sad songs, ballads, that kind of thing. I don't know what the kill count. I'll have to actually go back through the songs and figure out how many people have died so far. Somebody died in Louise. First Christmas, nobody died, but people were going to die. Let's see. Vincent, 1952, Vincent Black Lightning, another person died. So we're going to add to the body count. So this is another Stan Rogers song. I heard that there was a movie made out of this song, which is interesting because there's not a lot of material in the song to make an entire movie out of. But, what the heck. This is called Harris and the Mayor. My old friend, it's good to see your face again. More welcome though yon trap that old mare, for the wife is in a swoon and I am all alone. Please, Harris, fetch thy mare and take us home. The wife and I went out for a quiet glass of stout and a word or two with neighbors in the room. But young Larry, he came in as drunk and wild as sin, and swore the wife would leave the place with him. Well, the wife, as quick as thought, said, no, I'll bloody not, and beat the brute a blow about the head. He raised his ugly paw, lashed her on the jaw, and the wife fell to the floor like she were dead. Harris, well, I've never struck an angry blow, nor would I keep a friend who raised his hand. I was a Conchi in the war, crying what the hell's this for, but I had to see his blood to be a man. I grabbed him by his coat, spun him around and took his throat, and beat his head upon the parlor door. He dragged out an awful knife, and he roared, I'll have your life, and he stuck me, and I fell onto the floor. Now blood I was from neck to thigh, bloody murder in his eye, as he shouted out, I'll finish you for sure. But as the knife came down, I lashed out from the ground, and the knife lay in his breast as he rolled over. With a wife as cold as clay, I carried her away. away. No hand was raised to help us through the door, and I brought her half a mile, but I've had to rest a while, and none of them I'll call a friend no more. For as the knife came down, I was helpless on the ground. No neighbor stayed his hand, I was alone. But by God, I was a man, but now I cannot stand. Please, Harris, fetch thy mare and take us home. Oh, Harris, fetch thy mare and take us out of here. In my 39 years, I'd never known that to call myself a man, for my loved ones I must stand. Please, Harris, fetch thy mare and take us home. Oh, Harris, fetch thy mare and take us home. Harris and the Mayor is creepy. I like this song. It's a murder ballad. I mean, yeah, I agree. But you know, we're doing sad songs. I don't know if that's what you were referring to, but all right. I'm in Dadgad. It's thank you so much for sticking with me through this. This actually was very enjoyable, as depressing as the material is. It for me at least, it was very cathartic, and I think I'm gonna definitely face the next weeks and months with a slightly clearer head. Let's see. Oh God, I don't want that on. All right, 2 songs, let's say. I suppose since there's some family here, I might as well play A Conspiracy of Strangers. I already did that last week when I was concentrating on songs that I wrote. Today we're doing depressing songs, and there certainly is an overlap. But this song, obviously we have a relative of ours who passed away 3 years ago, I think it was now. And I was struck by it because I didn't actually know him well, even though he was a first or second cousin, which was, I felt that was to my shame. That, and obviously the guy was in dire straits, but the song departs from that story pretty much right there at the get-go. I made up my own story to talk about what I felt that I wanted to talk about. So I wouldn't want anybody to think that the specifics, the lyrics of the song had necessarily anything to do with just the fact that there are people at risk in the world And it's not right that when somebody's having a crisis, often the first responder is a person whose primary tool is a weapon. So, I don't want this taken the wrong way. I'm just saying that we're in a society where we all kind of conspire towards a bad result. What specifically happened with my second cousin, there's bound to be a ton that happened that I don't know anything about and never will. So I don't presume to speak to that. But I felt still that it was very important to say what I chose to say on the subject. So this is called A Conspiracy of Strangers. And it will be on my upcoming album with some amazing cello work by Phil Hershey, formerly of Mahavishnu Orchestra. Unwashed and weary, sick of the game, sleeping in your car, and every day's the same. And then one morning, you're tired of your life. The news said that some homeless guy was brandishing a knife. Someone called the cops. You failed to heed commands. You paid the price in bullets for refusing their demands. They didn't have to pull that trigger. But neither did you. A conspiracy of strangers. There was nothing we could do. Never got to know you. I didn't know you were alive. A not so distant relative, just trying to survive. Then you went and pulled that trigger. And now I can see how a conspiracy of strangers cut you away from me. Suicide by cop. It happens all the time. We see it in the paper. Isn't it a crime that the desperate and homeless, the people most in need, get wasted away? Are the ones to bleed? I don't know why we pull this trigger. Neither do you. Our conspiracy of strangers, there must be something we can do. I think there's something we should do. It's one of the few times I've made it through that without weeping. All right, that's it. Thank you, those of you who stuck with me. I'm going to end this with, I guess we're going to go back to lovelorn depression, but end it. It's also a much loved song. It's ancient. It's unattributed. It's of Scottish origin. And if you want a song that speaks to the human condition, then this is the one. I haven't actually played this one either since I recorded the album, which will be out God knows when, but we're getting closer. And there obviously will be no CD release concert until all this is cleared. So I've given myself a heck of a lot of time to get this thing published. But I am coming out with a CD. It will be available throughout the world on CD Baby and local Target stores and whatnot. Well, not local Target stores, online. So thanks a lot for staying with me. I really appreciate it. And I hope to talk to you all soon. If not, get to hug each and every one of you sooner than later. So here we go. I'm kind of worried I'm going to miss the bridge, but we'll see how it goes. Wide, I cannot cross over. Neither have I wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. There is a ship, she sails the sea, boat as deep can be, but not as deep as this hole I'm in. I know not if I sink or swim. I lean my back against an oak. I thought it was a trusted dream, but first it bent and then it broke. As my old love falls to me. Love is gentle and love is kind, and love is young, and love is new. But love grows cold as it grows old, till it fades away like the morning dew, and waters wide I cannot cross over, neither have I wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I, and both shall row.